Why did you decide to bring the game to the Xbox?
Basically, because Shenmue is such a cinematic game, he wanted to use the Xbox because of its high performance and high quality graphics.
In bringing the game over from the Dreamcast to the Xbox, how do they approach that work?
Shenmue for Dreamcast was written in C, and so their first challenge project was to completely port that over. And then once that was completed, then they started doing things specifically like fine tuning for the Xbox, using like the shader and with the increased number of polygons.
How was the experience of working with the Xbox hardware?
He said like a PC, it has large capacity memory and has the internal hard drive. So he personally really likes using Xbox for development.
So do those features kind of inspire him as a developer to think in new ways about what he can do with his games?
With previous platforms, there's always a lot of ideas that he has for games, and a lot of times it's just not possible to implement them. And so he said, this time he was able to execute a lot of the ideas that he's had in the past.
What were the things that he wanted to focus on the most when putting together the gameplay for Shenmue 2?
He said, he couldn't just release the same thing as for the Dreamcast, so he basically used Xbox's capabilities to its fullest. And, he took advantage of the fact that it has large capacity, and also the game is going to be released with Shenmue the movie. So, and just adding a lot of new elements. Even for people who've never played Shenmue 1, if they watch the movie and then they play Shenmue 2, they can really get a sense of the whole world within the game.
And speaking of the world in the game, can you sort of fill me in on, I guess, the amount of work that went into just creating the worlds that you travel in?
For Virtual Fighter, he went to China to do research, on various martial arts. And while he was there and doing the research, he just that's where he got the inspiration for this game.
Now, in terms of the various mini games that are in Shenmue 2, how did he think to have that kind of a mix in the game?
He wanted to create a virtual kind of city and just create it in its entirety, even parts that you can't see. And so that's kind of where these mini games and other elements came out. So he thought of it as like a whole picture instead of just being, an adventure game or a bunch of mini games. For example, say any given character, a minor character that walks across the screen, in a regular game, that's just it, but he wanted to approach it where it's like, okay, that person's coming from somewhere and going to somewhere, and what is that person doing? And whether you see that on screen or not, it's just something that if the gamer can get into that world and just experience it as like really being part of the city that he's in, that was kind of the goal.
Can you tell me a little bit about the fighting system that they put in the game, which is very, very deep?
In comparison to a fighting game like Virtual Fighter, where reflexes, like the hardcore users just have the reflexes, to play such games. Shenmue is a completely different it's for a completely different audience, and so he said to use that kind of fighting system from VI4 in Shenmue, it just wouldn't work because it wouldn't be what the users are looking for. So they fine-tune the fighting system with the user in mind for this type of game. And that's why they came up with QTE, which may actually be too easy for people who play something like Virtual Fighter. He wanted to have some really good action scenes in the game and wanted various camera angles. And in order to do that, he needed something like the QTE system instead of just a straight fighting system. And in Shenmue 2, the QTs, there's actually successive QTs, like one after another. And there's also, I guess, freestyle fighting scenes as well. And those have been fine-tuned for Shenmue 2. There's two types of events. There's the type where if you, I guess, win or succeed, then you go one path, and then if you lose or you fail, then you go another. And then there's, in terms of the story. And then there's another type where you can just keep retrying until you succeed and you defeat the opponents. And with the retry ones, as the player keeps failing, it actually gets easier to defeat the opponents. So they tuned it so that even people who are just more strategy game players can get through the game without getting frustrated.
What influenced the look and I guess the camera angles and just the presentation in Shenmue 2?
He's analyzed a lot of movies, and the action scenes, he's studied a lot of kung fu movies. He's watched all the Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan movies, and also some U.S. action movies. And he watches everything from like Kurosawa movies to Roman Holiday, and they're all influences in the game.
What was his intention in making, I guess, basically a new genre?
Even more so than just creating a new title or a new game, it was more creating a new genre that was important to him. With Shenmue, he was hoping that he can mix film and games and create a new genre of entertainment, not just of games. And with the Xbox, watching on your family, like home TV, it's really getting close to that movie quality.
None of your business!
I don't think so.
Looks like he wants to get hurt.
I'm not the one who'll get hurt here.
One, now! Run!
What the? Wait!
Now, what does he hope that consumers will get out of the experience of playing Shenmue 2?
多分例えば東洋っぽいっていうよりも
with this game, that, for example, when Japanese people played the game, it got favorable reviews, and he's hoping that even with Westerners, Americans, Europeans, when they play Shenmue and they experience the whole culture, within the game, that they will be able to take away, just the feel of being in that culture, and hopefully that'll be fun for them.
From a distant land in the east, from across the sea, he shall appear. He does not know of the strength hidden within him. The strength that would destroy him. The strength that would fulfill his wishes. When he is ready, he shall seek me out, and we shall brave together the rocky path. I shall wait. This encounter has been my destiny since ancient times. A dragon shall emerge from the earth, and dark clouds shall obscure the heavens. A phoenix shall descend from above. Its wings will create a purple wind. In the midst of the pitch-black night, a morning star shall glisten, alone.